Hello, thank you very much for coming. Welcome tonight to Essential Oils in the Kitchen and Cooking with Essential Oils. My name is Mandy, and I think I know everybody here, which is great. So I won't tell you too much about myself, but I will go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen for quite a bit of this back and forth just because I'm a visual learner and I love seeing facts, or I love seeing beautiful pictures and recipes and things. So I'm going to start right now by sharing my screen for this Cooking with Essential Oils presentation. And get started right off the bat with telling you what we're going to be talking about. So basically, why are you going to use these essential oils in the kitchen? You're going to spend less time prepping, so washing and cutting your fresh stuff. You're going to replace some of the hard to find ingredients and fresh ingredients that will go bad really quickly, or you end up wasting and throwing out a lot of that. That's something that I really dislike doing. And we're going to get the most bang for our buck because it only takes 1 to 2 drops for any of these recipes, and you really need very little, and so your oils are going to go a long way and save you money. We're going to talk about how dry herbs and spices quickly go stale, and initially they don't really have very much nutritional value anyway once they've been dried, right? Because we know that what is best for you is something that's fresh and uncooked. Once you cook it in whatever, and it's in various degrees that it loses its nutritional value. Once you start altering it, then that's what happens. So the essential oils don't have that happening, and they also have therapeutic benefits of the plant. There's just a couple of tips there on the side if you want to take a screenshot of any of that, but we'll talk about a little bit more of that as we go on as well. So I just want to get this out of the way right off the bat for sure, that ingesting oils can become a concern for some people. It's really often that when I post something about a recipe that I'm doing, something in the kitchen with essential oils, there's always 1 or 2 people that comment below and say, wait a second, is this even safe? Wait a second, I've heard that you're not supposed to do this, this, and this. And it's really important that people continue to voice their opinion and continue to share that to people, because that is a wonderful caution. But I want to say, don't worry, because through this class, I'm going to give you some knowledge so that you can make an informed decision and have the confidence to try new things if this is something that you want to do with you. Because what I can speak to is Young Living essential oils. I can't speak to the other oils, and I definitely agree that when I've looked into a couple of them, I know what the ingredients are inside of the bottles. I know the transparency that they may or may not provide about the farms that they're getting their oils from, or about the process for distillation. And I know the exact same thing for Young Living. So not all essential oils are created equally. And when you shop with Young Living, you get the seed to seal guarantee. So I know that it's the best of the best. I know that it's higher than food grade, higher than organic, best of the best products. So the seed to seal just means that right from the seed, so checking out the ground where the seeds are going to be laid, planting the seeds, going ahead and hand picking everything, harvesting at the perfect optimal time, and then taking it to the distillation process, and then through the testing, university level testing, third-party testings, to make sure it is the best that it possibly can be into the sealed bottle. That's our seed to seal guarantee. Young Living owns their own farms. So we have 11 farms that we own, that we've created from ground up. And we have about 15 farms that we partner with. And partnering means that we do the same vetting for that. And then once the oils come, once they've been distilled, they're offered first to us. And then once we pass on it, then someone else can go ahead and buy it. But if it's to our level of standards, then we will scoop it all up. So that just gives me so much confidence to know what oils that I'm getting. They're so transparent that you can visit all of these farms, which is amazing. And while we're in Western Canada this winter, we're really hoping that we could even check out the Northern Lights farm in BC. I do want to explain one other thing, and that is that the lemon oil, or any oil that you see in a white, a Vitality or Plus line bottle, as well as in the colored bottle, is actually exactly the same oil. So we're just not allowed to label them as you can ingest them as well as use them topically, as well as use them aromatically. It just doesn't make sense with Canadian label laws right now. And so we need to package them separately, but it is exactly the same oil in there. So I just want to point that out. And I'm going to share my screen again because I have some awesome ways that we're going to talk about using essential oils in the kitchen. So, share my screen and show you. So flavored water right off the bat. In my water, I'm not sure if you can see me anymore now that I shared, is some lemon. And so what I do when I go to drink any essential oils is make sure that I put the lemon in and then I use glass and never plastic because it leaches the petrochemicals and it flushes it out. So it will take it from the plastic and you'll end up with that in your body. It'll break it down over time. So use glass. I've got bamboo because Emerson has my stainless steel straw right now. And then I also love using a straw because I mix it up and drink it up. Because when you just drink it, the oils and water don't mix. So the oils just kind of sit on the top and it can get on your lips and coat your lips, which maybe you like that lemon or maybe you like that peppermint on your lips if you add it to your tea, but it can get pretty tingly, especially if you're using peppermint or other things. One thing about the citrus oils, when you're having them and drinking them down, I know, or maybe I hope that you've heard so much about how beneficial it can be to drink lemon water. And there's a concoction as well as with Himalayan pink salt. The problem with that is that it's hard on your tooth enamel and there's other things because it's quite acidic. So the lemon oil that we have is cold pressed. So it's not actually a true essential oil because it is cold pressed from the rind, not the pulp, so you don't have to worry about the tooth enamel, and you also don't have to worry because it's more alkaline. So technically it's raw vegan food, actually, which is a really cool fact. They're filled with antioxidants, so it's going to be wonderful to get these into your body this way. So this drink on this screen right here is the Lavender Lemonade, which is amazing to make. You really only need a drop of the lavender, a couple drops of the lemon, and then also I do lime plus in my cranberry juice or other things. It's wonderful. So here are a couple great ones. So adding black pepper to your scrambled eggs. If you can see black pepper here, I'm going to smell it. And I really wish that I had smell-o-vision because, oh my goodness. It's so warm and so earthy. And in any of your recipes, it's wonderful. So adding to your scrambled eggs or any sauces, anything like that is wonderful. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about black pepper and how wonderful it is in a little bit. So there's another suggestion, which is adding orange plus to melted chocolate, drizzling it over sliced fruit. So how can you do that if you don't have an essential oil, right? How can you add orange to something? It's not very common that you can. This smells exactly like the most delicious orange you've ever had. You know when you get the crappy oranges? You know when you get the orange or the clementine and you open it up and it's so dry? Oh, it's the most annoying thing ever. So this isn't gonna happen with your Orange Plus. I'll tell you that right now. Adding Peppermint Plus to brownies or hot chocolate. Peppermint Plus is an awesome one to start with and have. And adding it to those things is wonderful. Also adding it to tea is wonderful. 1 drop of peppermint is equal to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it is super, super powerful. You really only need 1 drop, but it's incredible. Cinnamon bark to pancake batter. This is a great one. I'm going to smell it right now because, oh my goodness. Cinnamon bark, we add to our smoothies as well all the time. There are so many amazing benefits to cinnamon. And when you are getting it ground up from the stores, it's already lost so much of its value and it's already going stale while it's in your cupboard. And it's also usually ground up with other things in it. I just had a spice out of the cupboard right now, and I think it might have been chili powder, and it described what was inside of it. And it also said ground rice pulp inside a spice that I purchased that was on the organic line from the top-notch best line that I could grab because I wanted it to add chili because we don't have a chili essential oil yet. So it's really freaky what they put in our spices. Really important that you read the ingredients, not just trust the labels, right? So that's cinnamon bark. Oregano and basil to spaghetti sauce is awesome. I also add cumin because that just is the spice. That scent reminds me of spaghetti, not just chili or other things. This cumin is so strong. It smells the entire cupboard like cumin. It's gorgeous. I also add black pepper in to make sure that I get the effects when I do that. I'm going to show you a graph that will tell you the equivalence between the drops of essential oils versus teaspoons and tablespoons that are required or asked of you of your herbs. And one thing to note about oregano oil is that it's one of the ones that are very strong, and there's several people that will tell you that they went ahead and they went to do the drop into their sauce, and sure enough, the second drop or third drop popped back out, and they really couldn't eat their sauce. They had to divide it up and cook another sauce several times afterwards so that they didn't have to throw it out. So it's really important that you realize how potent that they are and make sure that you go ahead and keep an eye on what you're putting in. So rosemary and thyme to stew. This is one of my top favorite things to do, is adding rosemary and thyme, because you know what? Stew was one of my things where I needed to have the fresh herbs. So I would go to the grocery store, I would get the rosemary, I would get the thyme, I would wash it all up, and then painstakingly rip off all the little twigs and all the little leaves and all the little things from these herbs, chop them all up and go. And so it took a lot of time to do. I only used a couple sprigs of each. So you know what I did is I would waste it, or I learned from my mother-in-law that you can freeze your herbs to help them not go bad, and you can use them later. So I would do that, and there they are in the freezer. Have to defrost them next time, such and such. But as we already discussed before, when you're freezing something, it's losing its nutritional value right off that hop as well, right? So the last tip that was on there was actually adding lemon to fish and such. And my favorite is adding lemon and dill together. My fish, on my salmon, that kind of thing. It's so delicious. I just melt a little bit of butter and then let it cool. And then I drop in a couple drops of lemon and a few drops of dill because I love both and I can handle a lot of them. Mix it all up and then brush that on top of the salmon. It's incredible. I also love to do the same thing just with dill, and then I take that melted butter after it's cooled, so I don't want to kill the enzymes and nutritional value of it. Put that in, and then I drizzle that all over my popcorn. That's actually the reason why I got into dill, was to go after the popcorn. So that is a really good one as well. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen and see what we have coming up next. And that is some suggestions of different things that you can do. So flavored butter. 1 drop of essential oil to 1 teaspoon of your softened butter. I just described 2 ways that I do that. There's several that you can do. Flavored salts. This is an awesome one. So take any of your empties that you may have. Preferably something similar, like for instance, I have cinnamon bark here, so maybe I'd like to do some cinnamon sugar with it. I know a lot of people like that, but I would use a more savory bottle and wash it all up. Just take it and pop that top off right there. Stuff it full of a great salt, and then there you go. You've got a finishing salt that you can add to anything that you'd like. So that is a really good tip and idea as well. I think the next one was doing some flavored oils. So what you could do is just use a little glass dropper and put the amount of oils that you'd like in there, fill it with this olive oil, high-grade olive oil, or your favorite kind of cooking oil. You could also use those fancy jars with the little top spout, and you could add for decoration a couple sprouts of real herb in there as well. You could do any combination you can imagine of and create your own essential oil infused cooking oils, which would be awesome. And I think the next one is talking about sprays. I skipped one over, so they're opposites. So a really cool thing is using a spray bottle like I have right here, putting a tablespoon of your olive oil, 10 drops of your essential oils, and then filling it with 2 ounces of water into your glass spray bottle, and then spraying at the end of your cooking. You could also spray it on pasta or create your own salad dressings and spritz them and spray them all over your salad dressings, right? Really cool things. One thing that someone else has told me about this spray idea as well is using it to clean off your cutting boards or prepare your cutting boards as well, doing lemon and doing that kind of thing to make sure. Because it doesn't really make sense to me that you would use a chemical cleaner to go ahead and clean off your cutting boards before you are going to cut your meat or other things on it. So spraying with something like lemon and disinfecting it in your own ways is a wonderful thing. Also, you could go ahead and use thieves, obviously, household cleaner on any surface like that too, but kind of cool to just kind of spritz your lemon or lemon and parsley or something like that over your cutting board before and after you're using it as well. The next one is the graph, and I will send this to you if you're interested in seeing it in a little bit as well. You can take a screen grab of it right now, but also I'll send it. So basically it's showing you stacks of different essential oils that we have that are in the Vitality line and Plus lines, Vitality in the States and Plus in Canada. And so down at the bottom and side, it's the amount of herbs or spice that's been suggested to you, the half or teaspoon or tablespoon, and then the amount of drops are here throughout. So from the beginning, you can use quite a few drops. All the way down to halfway, it starts saying TD. It's a toothpick dip or toothpick swirl. It's sometimes called in some recipes if you have a recipe book for essential oils. And so basically it's telling you that you can go ahead and put 2 drops of black pepper into any recipe that's asked you to put in half a tablespoon of ground black pepper to replace it. And in that case, what I would do is make sure that I am using a spoon and dropping exactly 2 drops onto that spoon before I go and mix it into my spaghetti sauce or something that I'm making, because I don't know if you've made roller balls and spray bottles and other things with your essential oils, but when you're dripping, you go ahead and typically things call for 10 drops. So you drip, 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 9, 10, and you lift the bottle up, and sure enough, an 11th one pops out. And that's all fine and good when you're dealing with 10, 20, 30 drops of oil. But when we're talking about how potent these are for flavoring and ingesting, 1 more drop is doubling the recipe or half doubling the recipe in some of these cases. So you could go ahead and scoop some of it off or deal with that teaspoon if you were to drop a 3rd one on by accident. So that's one of my really important tips to do. Put it on a spoon first. When it goes ahead and talks about a toothpick dip, they actually mean that you go ahead. So for ones like oregano, like I was talking about, dill and parsley, the clove, the ginger, these ones that are very effective and spicy. It's asking you to just literally open up into the orifice that comes off and putting your toothpick right down inside and taking it out, and then going ahead and swirling it into your food. And then you can go ahead and flip it upside down and do it a 2nd time if you need 2 toothpick dips. And then pretty much it's only calling for 2 on most of those recipes. So you're only kind of wasting and using up 1 toothpick, but you can go ahead and use the 3rd if you'd like to. That's some pretty handy chart, I think, right there, telling us all the different things that we can mix into our recipes and how you can transfer those herbs out. It's also really like comprehensive list. There are a number of oils that we can use on there, which is wonderful. There are a number of oils on there that are actually not deemed or like labeled as Vitality or Plus line, and also like maybe we just are sold out of them, or it was a previous line and they haven't brought it back yet, that kind of thing. But also because a lot of things are just labeled as GRAS, grass, generally regarded as safe. So there are several oils that I want to make sure that I talk about that may not have that white label that you're looking for, but definitely if you were to look them up, and Health Canada would approve them for being safe. So one of those ones would be copaiba. Copaiba is an awesome one that you hear of a number of people using on their jawline, number of people using to help with toothaches or teething pains, that kind of thing. And we actually use a drop of copaiba on our toothbrush whenever we're brushing our teeth every day, because it helps a lot with gums health. We're going to move on to the next. So this is just what I want to point out. Remember, I told you before that the Vitality line or Plus line oils are exactly the same oil as in those regularly labeled bottles. So what is super cool about that is if you have a starter kit, you're already halfway on your way. which is amazing if you trust and know that the oils in there are what you're looking for. If you don't have a starter kit, I would love to help you out with that and get this into your home, because this is a kit filled with the top 10 plus one. There's an 11th oil that are used widely from all different demographics from Young Living, and they put it together into an awesome bundle. And I'm going to tell you that lavender, lemon, and peppermint, all plus oils. Frankincense, there's a plus oil for that. Copaiba, I just said, is definitely one I know that is generally regarded as safe. There is a Thieves Plus line. And Panaway, I'm not sure why you would want to do that. It's a blend of some pretty intense natural health products that we have that help with pain. RC, same thing. It's mostly for breathing and respiratory. I'm not sure about that one. Purification is actually in the fruit and veggie wash. So it's generally regarded as safe, which is awesome. And then Digest. Digest is one that's often used, not only to rub where it hurts, but also to go ahead and ingest to help with any digestive issues that you're having. So there you go. You're well on your way. If you already have a starter kit, you don't have to go ahead and replace with a lemon plus or a lavender plus or peppermint plus, that kind of thing, but you can go ahead and do that, especially if you were to share with anybody else. You do want to make sure that you're only suggesting to people publicly that they do use it out of this special label. I'm going to check in and see what else I have next up, and that is to talk about the fruits and veggie sprays and the fruit and veggie soak. So the fruit and veggie spray, it does have thieves and also has lime essential oil. And then the fruit and veggie soak, like I said, contains purification as well as digest and thieves, which is super cool. So I do want to talk about that because it is essential oils in the kitchen. So this is the little spray bottle of the fruit and veggie spray. So we just spray it on. The directions are to do so onto an apple, a pepper, your mushrooms, grapes, anything you want to. You spray it on, you rub it for 30 seconds, and then you wash it off. Something that's been awesome for us. Oh, you can actually, by the way, feel the stuff coming off of things, especially that wax off of apples, that kind of thing. There's waxes that they put on several fruits like that. There's also, you never know what pesticides, that kind of thing that could be left on it. And even if you're buying organic, think about the number of hands that are touching those fruits and vegetables, from picking it all the way through transporting it all the way to getting it onto your counters in the grocery stores, as well as all the people that are coming through saying, I wonder if this is the apple that I want. No, I don't think so. And they put it back again, right? So really important to wash up your fruit and veggies before you're using it. We love this spray. We keep it in the car for our road trips. We're a road tripping family. We're a traveling family. So we actually keep it in the car. And when we are eating our apples and peppers and other things, I go ahead and spray it. And then I rub it for 30 seconds, and then I just take my water bottle and spritz it onto like a napkin or something, and then I go ahead and kind of rinse it off. It's all safe if it was to get into my body. That's the wonderful thing about these cleaners. These cleaners are all safe for ingestion, so it doesn't matter that there's a residue and I can't properly rinse well before I pass it to my 4-year-old son or before I ingest it with my husband. So this is super cool. There's also the soak. The soak, you use a capful to a few liters of water, and you can go ahead and put things like broccoli, raspberries, things that are going to break up if you kind of rub them together. Also, if you love to come home from the grocery store and clean it all up at once, dump it all into the sink and wash everything, and then put it away. By the way, if you give it a little spritz of lemon, it's going to preserve it for you that much longer into your fridge, which is a wonderful tip as well. So that is the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Wash and the Thieves Soak. And then while we're talking about essential oils in the kitchen and things that we ingest, I do want to talk to you about Nature Red. Absolutely. Because, one second, it is something that is a favorite in our household. So 2 pitchers come in the starter bundle that I was talking to you about before as samples. And we actually love these sample sizes. We've ordered several more because we keep them as our to-go drinks or as a reward when we get to the top of a mountain while we're hiking and different things like that. Also, Emerson can use it as like his little juice box kind of thing. And then you can go ahead and buy it in bottles. This one's almost empty if you love it that much, and you can go ahead and give yourself the 2-ounce serving size that it's asking for. So I'm going to show you. Oh. So I'm going to show you a couple of facts about Ningxia Red. And it's the puree of wolfberries. So wolfberries are similar to a goji berry, if you've heard of the goji berry. So all wolfberries are from the Ningxia province in China. There's superfruit extracts and synergistic blend of, there's orange, lemon, tangerine, and yuzu essential oils in there. And those contain nutrients such as beta carotene, lycopene, and D-limonene, which are super good for your body and your health. And it's a puree. So pureeing these berries means that the nutrients are captured from the juice, the pulp, the peel, the seeds, and the fruit. All 5 things. It's not just juiced out and then you lose all those nutritional value. On the right there, there's just some suggestions of how you might enjoy your Ningxia. And then this is 30 plus reasons to drink Ningxia Red. I can let you take a screenshot, or you can just kind of peruse and skip through as you're looking at it. But what I will tell you for sure is that it tastes delicious. There are so many tips about it if you have access to the supplements desk reference, or if you have an access to a normal desk reference, you can read up on it and why what is contained inside of it is so good for our health and so many systems of our health. So I'll just let you think on that. I do want to also share with you this resource. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can go ahead and get those resources like I talked about, the reference books, as well as the Young Living has its own blog called the Lavender Life. And it is an incredible resource because it has so many awesome tips and recipes and things on it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about black pepper, and I found that on the blog. So you can scroll through all the different things, essential oils, DIY, wellness, there's your recipes and other things. You can go ahead and look at any of them. So I'm under recipes, and there's tons of different things that you can do and cook with in the kitchen, cocktails, foods, why you want to ingest certain things like peppermint and lemon oil. But then this one on black pepper, pretty cool to see the benefits of black pepper essential oil. So they're going to go through and tell you a couple different things, like turning up the heat when you are just kind of rubbing it on your hands and feet to warm up and get that cozy feeling, as well as using it in a massage to warm up your body parts and get that heat that you're looking for massage. Using it as in a marinade, and going ahead and doing it for a warm up or a cool down, which is awesome as well. It gives you, like, it's an awakening kind of aroma, so you can use it with peppermint, orange, and give yourself that little zing that you're looking for to wake up a bit, spice up your foot soak, and different things like that. So tons of different ideas for it. And then a nice little graphic there for a diffuser blend to smell really deep and woodsy and wonderful. And one thing also, black pepper, if you were to look into traditionally how black pepper has been used, or some anecdotal notes on how effective black pepper can be for people, you can also like Google that and look up for yourself that it's wonderful for addictions, which is a great tip as well. So I'm going to go back to the slides. And this is basically just a couple of recipes, which I can send to you as well. So there's pumpkin spice latte. You can go ahead and add your own essential oils that you know are going to be pure, you know are going to be full of nutrients for you, and then the other ingredients into a latte. Or, you know, this is a wonderful healthy alternative, then going to those coffee shops that are going to use those spritz pumps and squirt goodness knows what into your pumpkin spice latte that you're asking for, or any of the other things, right? Those sugar pumps, those flavoring pumps, they have many synthetics, many unnatural and natural flavors, which, by the way, is a blanketed statement where they can put anything that they want in there that actually flavors something. And yeah, so this is a wonderful alternative to that. There's a Mediterranean marinade that includes the black pepper, lemon, and oregano. And there's salad dressings, including basil, lemon, black pepper, those kind of things. So these are all things that we've talked about during this call, and these are things you can grab screen grabs from. You can go backwards again since this is recorded and grab screen grabs from, and I can send you these links as well. But it's just some suggestions on things to make sure that we can have. And that brings us to the end. So I'm definitely going to open it up to questions and comments and come back to anything that we that caught your interest and that you want to talk to a little bit more. I do want to appeal to you and ask you if you would like to introduce me to your friends, and we can host another call just like this and teach them all about the things about using essential oils in the kitchen. So no experience necessary. Basically, I show up and you show up, and you just invite all of your friends to one of these Zooms, and we can go ahead and talk about the things. And you will learn free stuff, and then we'll do the same thing, and we'll have this giveaway. So the giveaway I'll do after the recording, but basically, if you invited a friend tonight, then both of you are getting invited into this draw, and I'll put a ballot for each of you in, and we will win the gift. And I also want to say that if you want to place an order tonight, just please stay on the call after we say goodbye to everybody, and I can answer more questions, or we can go ahead and get you started right away. And if you have any more questions about that, please always reach out to me. I love sharing about it so much, and I love doing this business side of it. So make sure you do so. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we will deal with all of those things that I talked about. So thank you so much for watching.